Happy Sundays with Cinnamon.
And it is a happy one, even though I am challenged with a guest of a headache that is monumental. And I'm choosing to do the Sundays with Cinnamon just the same because I really want to help people to see how to manage a physical plane situation while they continue to live as best they can within the confines of it. And as I surrendered to this really strong headache, and some of you know that I was in the hospital with a migraine a couple of weeks ago in Albuquerque, and I've been challenged with a headache practically every day since I got back to San Luis. And it's helped me to rely on Rumi's poem about the guest, that you will be greeted by guests every moment of your life, whether it's the guest of joy or the guest of animosity or whatever the guest brings to your life, from which to learn. And when you say to the guest, okay, you're welcome, and you have to sit here because I own the house, I am the manager of what goes on here, and you're welcome, just be here, just be still, and let it be enough that I'm not pushing you out of the house. And when you do that, often the guest leaves because you're no fun. You're not pulling on the rope. You're just taking charge. And they came to be powerful and to push you around, and that doesn't work in my house because all are welcome. They just need to be the guests, not want to take over the manor. And as I surrendered to the guest of this headache that was going to great proportions, I managed to bring it back to a headache that is very manageable. If you've ever had a migraine, you know the difference. And so, and even when you have a migraine, you must surrender because it is what it is. There's no getting away from it. And so you have to get with it and see what it came to teach you. And mostly it comes to remind you to just be still and welcome the opportunity to be more powerful, to be in charge, to manage it. Because you have it. It really doesn't have you unless you surrender to the victimization of, oh, it has me.
Yes.
And also I wanted to, now that sometimes when I have a severe headache, you can see it. And I was wanting to explain that in case people are wondering, gosh, she doesn't look too perky today.
And can you speak a little louder? I know, is that
Oh,
hard for your headache?
yeah, it is. It is.
Okay,
I'm
then people
hoping.
can just really put the volume
Yeah,
up.
I'm really hoping you can hear me because speaking up is
Okay.
would make the guest the boss, and I have to manage that. So what I wanted to talk about is cults, and because over the last 30 years I have met that guest many times, where people, usually the families of students who come initially to me, and I say initially because more often than not, the parents at some point begin to recognize that I'm not the wolf in sheep's clothing, that I am the sheep.
All my family's finally realizing it.
And I have so many of my students could come here and say, wow, my mother used to hate her. And in one case that I recall with all my heart, the mother, after years of my just letting her fear do what it needed to do in her life, I heard her one day say from across the room, pointing to me, that's her other mother. And I almost fainted with joy. So amazing. And I love this woman. I love her so much. She visits here three times a year sometimes, and every time I see her, I'm so happy to see her in a sisterly way. So I would like whoever has that cult story to just please get a dictionary and look it up and see how it's defined, and really, it if you let it, could diminish your fear around living love, being a cult experience, because cults require things of you. Living love is here representing giving to you. Yes, I receive plenty, although it's in the joy of giving. I don't hold out my hands to take from anyone. I hold out my hands to give. Take what you want, whatever it is. I remember one day in the house we were talking about attachments, and I was guided to ask the people present to just look around you, because they often say, oh, I like this, I like that. I said, take whatever you like, just take it. And
Oh, I was there.
yeah, oh yeah, you were. And because it felt so good to say.
You took your favorite rings off your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so.
I was tempted.
And ultimately, I did give those rings away down the road.
Yes, you
and so, yeah, a cult wants your devotion, your adoration, your money, your car, your whatever it wants. It wants something, and it will get it
Oh yeah.
by hook or crook. So that's all I want to say about that, because it doesn't need belaboring. If you are unwilling to see me as innocent of being a cult leader, then bless your heart and mine too, because it's just, there's no way to convince people of that which they need to hold on to for whatever their reasons. And they will always be fearful reasons. Fear, and there's a righteousness about the fear. People put a halo around fear, saying, well, I love you so much that I just want to take care of you by pointing out to you that you're a follower. And if you could be insulted, that would be very insulting, because why would you be a follower? How weak would you be? That if you're following anything, it's your heart that's guiding you to go deeper within. And my job on this earth, until I wear my... Bill Withers has this great song, Use Me Till You Use Me Up. And I love that, because that's my song to God. And so once I give it all, I'll leave, and you all will have it, and you do what you do with it. I don't even concern myself about, will they do it the way I did it, this and that. I don't do Living Love the way Ken Kais did it, and he supposedly,
Your teacher.
yeah, he supposedly founded the whole deal. Although then it was more didactic, and I've taken it to a more spiritual place that works for me and appeals to me, and helps me fulfill my contract with God. So
I wrote something about just how grateful I am to you, and when I am grateful about anything, I share it like you wouldn't believe, because I would want people to share with me if they found something that works.
Because you have to, Kathleen. You're bursting with love, and when you know love, you want to share it so that everyone calls it up in themselves. You're not sharing it to tell what you know or you feel or you think.
No.
You're sharing it to trigger in that person who they really are. I have had people say to me, oh, I want to be like you, and that's a red flag for me, because I say to them then, I want for you to be just like you, who you really are. You don't want to be like me, God. You want to be like you, who you really are. And see, when you speak something like that, what you're saying is, who I really am, or who you think you are, is not good enough. So I want to be like you or someone else. And that is not what is. What is you are whole and complete deep in there. Now you may have to take some layers of fear away in order to surface. And that's what we're doing. That's what living love is about. It's about helping you to see yourself more clearly in your own worthiness.
Yeah. Someone recently said to me, or said in the group, and it was just funny because I'm like, is that a compliment or an insult? And she said, to know Kathleen is to love Kathleen. And I'm very enthusiastic. I always have been. And for a while there, I began to dim my light with that because it seemed that people did not want me to be enthusiastic. And I was in the goop, yes. And
Good opinion of other people.
I really was. I was going, oh, maybe I need to be this way. But I came here to live out loud. It is my soul's calling. And when I do not follow it, I just wither. I need to follow it now. And so learning to not mind what people think
That's the
about
deal.
me being out there and
Well, like when you read that letter to me, I started laughing.
Which letter?
The cult thing.
Oh.
Well, you didn't read it, but you told me about it.
yeah, I received a letter, a personal letter via my website, and this woman had had an experience that was terrible, and I had so much compassion for her, and she projected her situation onto me, and not realizing that you have never asked me for a penny, and not even realizing where I was and where I am today with my husband, with my blood family, with my child. I mean, wow.
You have created a new experience of loving that is enormous. And
Enormous,
and you're sharing it.
huge, and I am sharing it,
That's
and I'm
it.
here to tell
And
people,
that's about you.
yeah, I'm doing the work, and it works people, and I did it. I've done the work. I have
Even when it was really tough, you said,
Really
okay,
tough.
I'm in.
really tough.
Yeah.
I love your quote when you say, steel has to be melted down to be made strongest.
Yeah.
Respect the tempering process. And it is a tempering process
Mm-hmm.
because, boy, there were times where I'm like, this is getting too close to the fire.
And the process is to help you see how strong you are. And then you use what seems like the worst of times as a touchstone. And that reminds you, oh, wow, yeah, I can manage this too. Because that was like the toughest thing I ever lived through. And I lived through it.
Yes. So take what you want, folks, and leave the rest.
Exactly.
We're simply
Or leave it
here.
all.
Or leave it all, because
Yeah.
we're simply here to teach you what has worked for us and the peace we've created, both Sin and I, through very challenging experiences. I mean, I don't know anyone who has had as challenging experiences as you, Sin. I mean, in the last 3 years, what you've gone through, and just watching you go through it, not resist it, has been such a gift. And I thank you. Thank you for just being a human example of what it means to choose love in every moment.
Oh, wow. Same to you, bud. And same to all of you. You are as capable of creating newness of life as I or Kathleen or anyone on the planet. Just do it.
Yeah.
When you're tired of suffering, you will. It's in there.
Amen.
Amen, indeed.
See you next week, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.